Hey, my name is Joe and this is my Craps Master journey. Let's make it yours too. Today we're going to be going through an updated version of my subscriber strategy. Originally it was called the Twin Towers Power Heist, and we're going to rename it the Twin Towers Hybrid Heist because of some of the changes that I've made to the strategy, which I believe is going to be making it more adaptive to my style of play. Plus it's going to allow us to collect small amounts of money in the short run, keep our bankroll intact in the mid-run, and win some big amounts of money hopefully, and be very aggressive for the long rolls. The first thing that I did is I changed, and I'm going to just use some money on the side here. Move my stick aside for a second. And the first thing I did is I changed the initial bet. The initial bet was a don't pass bet of $15. And we're going to change it to don't pass bet of $25. Again, if the 7 or 11 rolls, we lose that $25. But if a 2 or 3 rolls, we would win $25. If a 12 rolls, it's a push, so we would not win or lose that bet. And if one of the box numbers rolls, that becomes the point for the strategy. So that would be on the first roll of the dice is where we would place that don't pass bet or wager. Let's say that we have the come out roll, we roll a 6, okay? In the original strategy, we would place $10 on the 5, $10 on the 9, $18 on the 6, $18 on the 8. And what would happen is, if the point was a 6, we would not place that bet on that 6 on the original strategy. In our strategy, the way I'm redoing it now, we are going to be placing a $10 bet on the 5, $10 bet on the 9, 18 on the 6, and 18 on the 8, which is the same as what we did in the original strategy, but I'm going to be placing all 4 of these bets no matter where the point is at. Okay. The next thing or change that we'll be making is we're going to be adjusting the don't pass odds. Originally we had it set at $42 if it was on the 6 or 8. We had it at $51 don't pass bet if it was on the 5 or 9. And we had it at $70 if it was at the 4 or 10. And we're actually going to lower the don't pass odds, and I'll explain to you why in a little bit why that will be. But at the current moment, what we're going to do is, if the bet lands, or if the point is on the 6 or 8, we're actually going to be putting $36 don't pass odds on there. Okay, and if the 36 is the don't pass odds, that will pay out $30 should the big red come out. If the point was on a 5 or 9, we're actually going to go and place $42 odds on that don't pass. So that's 35, 40, and 42. So it would be $45 in the don't pass odds if it's on the 5 or 9. And then finally, if the point would be on the 4 or 10, we're going to be placing $50 in odds. So that's $20 less than what we had done in the previous version of this. The last change that we're going to be making to the strategy at the current moment, and this is on the second roll, keep in mind, is we're going to be placing a come bet. We're going to be actually placing 2 come bets on the strategy as the strategy rolls out. And what that'll help us do is that helps us reduce the don't pass odds slightly. It gives us a little bit more 7 protection on that second and third roll, so we actually get paid a little bit more. When you place the odds you get paid out a little bit less. You get paid out a portion of whatever you're putting on there, whereas this come bet will pay out 1-to-1. So let's do this once. Let's assume that the point is 6, and let's just kind of play out the strategy a little bit here. So roll number 1, we had the don't pass. We set a point of 6. Roll number 2, we're going to put $10 on the 5, $10 on the 8, $18 on the 6, $18 on the 8. So I'm sorry, that was 10 on the 5, 10 on the 9, 18 on the 6, 18 on the 8. We're also going to place a $25 come bet. And since the point is 6, we're going to put $36 on the odds. Again, the odds are always placed on the dealer's side of the table. Always offset it off the bottom chip. Okay, so what are the options here, guys? Let's say 7 is rolled. Okay, if the 7 is rolled, we're going to lose all of these here. Okay, but we get paid out $25 for the come bet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's $25. And we also get paid out $25 for that come bet up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we're going to get paid out $30 for the don't pass up there. Don't pass odds. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to come up with $20 more up there, or some $25 more up there. So we're actually making off of that 7 out, that 0.7 out, we're actually making $25. So that's one little benefit of changing the strategy around and going with the come odds here. Okay, let's reset it up again. Okay, so 10 on the 5, 18 on the 6, 18 on the 8, 10 on that 9, and we got 36 in odds. Okay, so the first scenario was where the 7 actually comes out. If the 2, 3, 11, or 12 comes out right now, let's go with the 2 or 3 right now. If the 2, 3 comes out right now, or the 12, we're actually going to lose this comeback. So that's the only scenario that we have right now that actually would be detrimental to our strategy and going forward. So we would lose that $25. So that would be a loss of $25. But if the 7 or 11 comes out, we're actually going to get paid $25. So if you look at that, that's kind of a wash both ways. So sometimes we're going to hit that 7, 11, sometimes we're going to hit the 2 and 3. Something that you really cannot hold the strategy accountable for. This is it's just a part of playing craps. The last options we have is if one of the box numbers gets hit. So we can break this down even further. So let's say the 4 or 10 get hit in the next roll. What's going to happen is our come bet will travel. Okay, and then we would go on to roll number 3, and we'll get to roll number 3 in just a few minutes here. Next options would be if the 5 or 9 gets hit. So what's going to happen is that come bet will travel if the next roll is a 5 or 9. It has 2 units or $10 on there, so that's going to pay out $14. I'm sorry. It's going to pay out $14. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that $10 down, and all we're going to do is we're going to rack that and put that into our tray. So if you look at it, our come bet traveled to the 5, and we were able to take $10 off the table, which is our original bet, and we made a profit of $14 off of that roll. Again, that's if the 5 or 9 rolls. Okay, we're going to reset it. Let's say the 6 or the 8 rolls. Okay, and remember, the name of the strategy is called the Twin Towers Hybrid Heist. So what's going to happen now is, let's say the 6 is rolled. the come bet's going to travel to the 6. We're going to put odds on that because this is going to get paid out $21. And we're going to put $36 in odds on here. So the nice thing is that everything is paid for right now. So let's go like this. Let's go $20, $25. We'll change it out for a quarter. Okay, and like I said, we're going to put $36 onto that in odds. So everything's paid for there. We actually get to collect $3 on that bet. Okay? So basically every scenario that we've had so far after the come out roll on this second roll, every scenario we've had so far, we've actually been able to collect money except for if the 2 or 3 was rolled on that second roll, and that's where we actually lost 25. But that's a pretty good deal, guys. Every single number except for those 2 gets paid out on that second roll. Okay. Next bet, next roll, roll number 3. We're going to again follow up with another $25 come bet. Again, that's going to give us more 7 protection on that against that early, the early 7 or early big red. So let's say again 2 or 3 rolls, we're going to lose that $25. That's our only losing scenario right there. If the 7 or 11 comes out, we'll get paid on this $25. If the 7 comes out, we'll get paid on the 25 there. We'll lose these, but we'll also get paid out on that don't pass again. What are the scenarios here now? Let's say a point is rolled. On the third roll here, we get a box number. That 25 would travel. So let's say it's 410. Basically all that's going to happen on this is it just goes up to the 410. Nothing else happens. If the 5 or 9 is rolled, what's going to happen is that $25 come bet will travel to that 5 or 9. That $10 is again going to get paid out $14. And we're just going to rack that. Okay? So that would be again if the 5 or 9 is rolled, we would just rack that profit plus the original $10. Okay, next scenario is on that third roll, let's say the 8 is hit. If the 8 is hit, that come bet's going to travel up to the 8. Again, it's going to be the same thing that happened to the 6 on the first time on that second roll when we had the come bet travel up there. So that 21 is, I'm sorry, that 18 is going to get paid out 21. And what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to put $36 in odds on there. So we would clean this up for a quarter. And we got 35, 36. And then again, we would have $3 left over, and we would put that up onto here. And I'm going to see if I can get some of these comments off of here. Somebody's doing the stupid naked stuff again. And that's uncalled for, guys. If you are watching my streaming and you see stuff like that come up, please make sure that you report those to get those to clear off of my stream. So let's reset this again. We got backdoor $25 on the come bet. This is again roll number 3. So this is the start of roll number 3. And let's say the last scenario would be where the 6 gets hit one more time. So what's going to happen is this come bet will travel, and we're going to get paid out on this. So our original come bet gets paid out $25, and then our odds are going to get paid out $30. Okay, and the cool thing about this now, guys, is we're going to be able to take this money and up this bet to our goal for the strategy, which is to get this to $90 as fast as possible. So we'd take this down We would put $90 on there, and here guys, look at this. This is the really cool thing about the strategy is we are collecting $25, $35, $40, $43 off of that one hit. And we would put that right into our rack. Thank you, Vince, for helping me out with that. That is very annoying when those sites do that to the streams here. So that's the cool thing about strategy is we get it so it pays a lot of things. Our goal now is to make money as fast as we can and to power press these presses up so we can make some big bucks if the roll does go a little bit longer. In the other strategy, in the original subscriber strategy, what we would do is every time the 4, 5, 9, or 10 had hit, because we had hardware sets on the 4 and 10 on the original strategy, we would just collect that money for 2 times only. Once we hit the 2 times, the 2 collections on that bet, what we would do is we would take the don't pass odds off. Again, we would take the don't pass odds off once we hit the 4, 5, 9, or 10 2 times from the beginning of this strategy. The way I'm going to change it here is once we achieve anywhere between $75 to $80 profit in our rack from our rolls, because remember, we're collecting a little bit of money almost every single time that we're rolling here. Minor, but a little bit every single time that we're rolling here. And that money actually does add up relatively fast. So once we collect about $75 to $80 in our rack, we would then take those don't pass odds off. So that's kind of the change of the strategy in a nutshell, if you will. Let's do this one. So let's roll it out here a little bit, guys, so that way hopefully you guys will see where it's coming from, how I change things, how it's going to work. And again, this whole week now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be rolling it out. Today we'll just do a random roller, and the rest of the week we'll actually do myself rolling the strategy out. And what we're going to do is, again, as many rolls as I can get and see how it does. We're going to start off with $500 in our rack. Again, the strategy starts off with a $25 don't pass bet. And we're going to come out here looking for a point. And we have a 1, 3, 4. So our point is going to be 4. So our initial layout is going to be $10 on the 5, $18 on the 6, $18 on the 8, $10 on that 9. Okay, then we also are going to go with a $25 come bet. And since our point is on that 4, we're going to go with a $50 don't pass odd. Okay? So roll number 2, and let's see how we're going to roll this, or how this is going to go. Roll number 2, we have a 4, 1, 5. Okay, so what's going to happen is our come bet's going to travel to that 5, and this 5 has $10 on it. It's going to get paid out $14. Okay, so what we do with this now is we're just going to put this right in our rack, and that's at a total of $24. That goes towards our $75 to $80 goal. Again, once we go to $75 to $80 in our rack here, we would take those don't pass odds down. Okay, so that was roll number 2. Roll number 3, we're going to take another $25 out, and we're going to put that on for our come bet. Okay, and rolling it out, we have a 6, 2, 8. Perfect. Okay, so what happens is that $25 come bet travels. This $18 here gets paid out $21. Okay, we would take that down, and we're going to put $36 in odds here. So let's clean these nickels up for a quarter. So here's 5 of them there. And we're going to put $36 in odds on that 8, and we're going to take $3 and put that into our rack. So now we are at $28 $7 towards that 75 in the rack. Okay, now from here, this is roll number 4. We're not going to place any more come bets now. We're just going to start playing this out and see what happens with the strategy and see how fast we can build that bankroll up. Again, we're going to hopefully hope that that big red does not come out, so we can actually build the strategy up. We have a 6-2-8, perfect, and that's really nice because what's happening now is that $25 comeback gets paid out 25 there, and it gets paid out $30 on the odds. And that's going to allow us now, guys, to get to our first goal in the strategy. Our first goal is to get the 6 and the 8 up to 90 as fast as possible. So that's going to allow us to go with $75, $85, $90 on that 8. Okay, and now you have an option to take now, and this is totally up to whatever your strategy is, what your goal is for the session. My goal for the session is going to be to get $150 in profit as fast as possible, so that way I can walk away from the table with at least $150 win goal that day, which if I have a $500 starting bankroll, that's a 30% profit win. Okay. The other option that I can go with here is, again, like I said, our original goal is to get the 6 and 8 up to $90 as fast as possible. I can actually take that $25 and put that onto the 6. So we have a $30 6 now, which would pay out $35 if that would win. And that would give me, again, the option to collect some extra money. And I think I'm going to go that route this time. So we're actually going to take $14 off the table and put that into our rack. So counting up our money that we've made so far, we got 10, 20, 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, $41 in our rack. So we have basically another $34 to go before we take those don't pass odds off. So that was roll number 4. Roll number 5 coming out here. We have 516, and that's perfect because hey, we just divided up to $30. That's going to pay out $35. And again, our goal is to get it up to 90 as fast as possible. So what we'll do is we'll take this and put it on there. And as Vince would say, this is one of Vince's, we'll take that chump change and throw it in our rack. So now we've got $90 on that 8. $60 on that 6, which will pay out $70 for the hits, $25 comeback, and then 10 on the 9. The only numbers we don't really have covered at box numbers right now is that 4 and that 10. Okay, and we have a 5, 6, 11, a yellow 11. That does nothing for the strategy. We have a 5, 5, 10. Hard way up, that flipped. Oh, flip back again. Okay, so this again does nothing. On the original subscriber strategy, that would have paid out on the hard way. I don't feel the benefits are there enough in order to keep those hard way sets at this time. Maybe once you start making more money and start making a lot of profit, you might want to play the hard ways. It all depends on your dice rolls and how you do things. 1, 3, 4 does nothing. Oh, that is our point. So it actually does do something here. This is one of the bad parts about the strategy is that we will lose that don't pass bet and the odds. But the strategy does make money, in my opinion, fast enough, hard enough that, yeah, that's a hit, but it's not as big of a hit. So we'll go up there one more time again. We'll go that don't pass one more time. During the come out here, all of our bets are off except for the come bet. That is a contract bet, so we do need to leave that on. So coming out, and we have a 5, 3, 8. Okay, so our point will be 8. And again, we want to make sure we have the 5, 6, 8, and 9 covered. So since the point is 8, we're not going to do anything with that bet. The other thing I'm also going to do, since we have $90 on there, let's do our original don't pass. So our don't pass on the 6 or 8 will be a $36 odds bet. Okay, Right now that might not make sense a little bit, but that's going to help us recover some of this money should we big red come out. Okay, let's hope to get that 5 going here so we can get that out of there. We have a 5, 4, 9. Okay, that $10 is going to pay out 14. And again, anything on the 4, 5, 9, and 10, we're just going to collect, put it in our rack until we get it up to $75 to $80. And let's see where we're at right now. 20, 30, 45, we're roughly about $55, $60, so we're just a little bit away. Dice out, and we have a 5, 1, 6. Perfect, guys. That's 70. I'm sorry, that's 60 there is going to pay out $70. Okay, now let's see what we got here. Remember, our original goal is to get up to $90 on that 6 and on that 8. So we have the $90 here. That's 75, 85, 90. Our second goal, once we hit the $90 on here, is to get our 5 and our 9 up to $15 bet. So since we have a come bet on the 5, we can't get that up to 15 right now. But what we can do is we can get $15 on that 9. Okay, here we are now, guys. We have $35 to put in our rack, and we have met our $75 to $80 goal that we wanted as a profit in our rack. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take those odds off, and we're just going to play the strategy out as it lies out now. Okay, we have a 5, 4, 9 again. Okay. 5, 4, 9, what happens here now is that has 3 units on our $15. That's going to pay out $21. With that $21 now, we're going to try to get that 9 up, and we're going to start power pressing this up as fast as possible. And we're going to try to, next level is going to be $40 on her. So let's see what we have right now. We've got 25, so we'll take that as a quarter. 35, 36, and we want to get $40. So we actually have to take $4 out of our rack, and we're going to power press that up to $40. So that's 4, 5. I'll get a nickel. That's $40. So now we have $40 on that 9. One of the things that I did not mention during the initial explanation of the strategy is that we're power pressing this up to $90. From here, we're going to go to one collection, so we'll actually collect $105 on the 6 or the 9, or 6 or 8 when it gets to 90. After that collection, we're actually going to start pressing up again. So that $90, we would press it up to 180, and then we would press it up to 420, and then we would just start collecting from there. With the 5 and 9, we go from that $10 to a $15 press. From the $15, we're going to power press to $40. And then from here, we're going to go 100, 200, 300, 500 to bring it up to the table max. And hopefully on this roll, we can actually show that. But at the current moment, we're at $90 on the 6 and 8, $40 on that 9, and then we have the come bet out here on a 5. And we have a 5, 6, 11, a yellow 11, that does nothing. And we have a 4, 3, 7, which is going to lose all this at the current moment now. Okay, and we get paid out on that don't pass. So this is roll number 1. Again, this whole week we're going to start rolling this out. And I'm going to put a $100 chip out here to designate roller 1. And like I said, this whole week now we're going to be rolling out this strategy. And as we go, guys, if you have any suggestions about how to make the strategy better, things that you think might make it work better, you know, don't be afraid to let me know. But again, that was roll number 1. Let's see where we ended up. We started off with $500. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 300. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 400. 10. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. So we have basically $435. We lost $65 on it, and that was basically because of that don't pass hit that we had, which is again part of the playing the craps strategy, or part of playing the craps game. And that's bound to determine to happen as you go through. Again, this strategy is made to collect small bits of money in the beginning and the mid rolls, and kind of maintain your bankroll so that way you can actually make the big bucks. Again, our original goal, my goal is if I have a $500 bankroll to get $150 out of that and then walk away from the table before you have to give it back to the casino. But it does have the potential to make some big bucks with a longer roll. So again, hey, if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe, that you press that, give me that thumbs up, and make sure you drop some comments or suggestions, things that you think you might like to see added to the strategy to make it more conducive to winning money, to playing your style of craps. My name is Joe, and this is my Craps Master journey. Let's make it yours too. We'll see you again in a few days, guys.